We're excited to go to Ed Petersen, CEO of Wrench, to learn a little bit about what on earth is going on at Wrench. Ed, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome, Ed.
Thank you. Good to be
So,
here.
Ed, tell us a little bit about yourself and about Wrench.
Yeah,
Just a super basic background.
yeah, sure. It's kind of funny. I was listening to Bill there, and I'm probably the opposite of that. I did not come from the automotive world. I did not work my way up the ranks. I was a tech guy in the software world who happens to really like cars.
Yeah.
And when we started Wrench, we kind of looked around and we're like, geez, there's all this neat stuff happening in the auto industry, whether, on the technology side, whether it's, EVs or autonomous driving or, whether it's, all the safety things, but how you deal with the basic day-to-day of just the hassle of maintaining the vehicle has not changed. And it still is and it's still one of the biggest pain points, to vehicle owners. And so, we set out to build a marketplace and started to figure out, hey, is there a way we can use technology and data and grasp onto the sort of culture of convenience that is out there where, I want to be able to solve problems with an expert on my time, on my schedule, and with transparency.
So your company has mobile service units, and you go to customers' homes and you provide the service at their house, right?
Yeah.
Who contracts with you, Ed? Is it the customer that contracts direct? Do you go through OEMs? Are you going through IADs or independent auto dealers?
Yeah, no, it's direct. So you go to wrench.com. There's really two services though that we do. We have, I break it into two buckets. We have an inspection bucket. So we're actually one of the largest direct to consumer used car inspection company out there. We run that under our Lemon Squad brand.
Okay.
And then we also have wrench.com and yourmechanic.com, which is maintenance and repair. And, that's the 80% of the things that you would take your vehicle into a shop for, or into the dealer, into a brick and mortar shop for. We take that in and do that either at home or office and do it in a mobile.
So you saw obviously opportunity in this. Is part of the opportunity that OEMs or dealerships weren't doing this enough? And so it's like, hey, I see a place for us to kind of come. Like, I'm trying to understand if you compete with us, if you enhance us, if we can contract with you, what?
Yeah, on the independent side, we definitely enhance, right? And I would tell you, one of the products that we had a lot of success with in partnering with the independent dealers is our Wrench Total Care package, which is a prepaid maintenance package. And we sell that through their F&I departments. We're integrated into, for example, on the loans. I know we were talking about, underwriting, we're integrated into Westlake Financial and their Secure One product. We're also integrated into Dealer Center. So it's, it can be sold, these maintenance packages can be sold independent of the underwriter. And so that's one of the biggest ways we do help independent dealers. I think mobility is coming to OEM dealers as well. And you saw AutoNation buy, for example, RepairSmith, which is was a smaller competitor of ours a couple of years ago. And so, and I think the primary reason that mobility is coming is just consumers demand it. I mean, go ahead.
So how many trucks do you have out there, or vehicles do you have doing technicians?
A lot is the short answer. We have on the inspection side, it's in the thousands of guys that are out there.
Wow.
Running around. On the maintenance and repair guys, it's in the mid hundreds.
Okay. And are they direct employees or are they contract labor with you?
Contract labor.
They're contract. And where do you find them?
It's, a lot of it is word of mouth. They refer each other. They're people that love the freedom, love the ability to run their own schedule, pick and choose the jobs they want to do, like talking to customers, like the variety of the work. And so it actually sort of sells itself. Once someone comes on the platform, they generally stick around. I mean, they really do like it. And so that side's worked pretty well.
Yossi?
Hey, I do have a question. So, Ed, you mentioned you work closely with independent dealers, specifically on F&I upsells, right? So I understand you're selling this value-added product on the back end.
Yeah.
Is that, to the extent, do you see any adoption with franchise dealers with that? Or is it strictly independent?
Right now, it's the primary thing is independent, but I do believe that franchise dealers are right around the corner. And
why is that? Yeah.
Because mobility is the key. If you think about why do people not go back to a dealer, it is a pain. And it's, quite frankly, living this right now. So where I've got a light on in my wife's new car, and the dealer is a half an hour away from my house, and I just don't want to go back, to be blunt. And so having the convenience of certain jobs, we can't do everything in the field, obviously, right? But having that convenience and having a mobility solution be an extension of your brand, of your dealership to that customer for certain jobs is great. It keeps you top of mind. It brings people back to the dealership. It brings people back actually to the dealer shop, to the dealer shop for larger jobs, for other bigger things that we can't do in the field. It really does work pretty well, and I think that's if you look at why did AutoNation buy RepairSmith? And I guarantee it's the top reason.
What's your when you look a few years down the road? I mean, obviously retention is big in the automotive space, particularly for OEM franchise dealerships. To the extent you enhance that, interesting, right? And what are your plans in terms of expanding? You've got thousands of technicians out there, thousands of trucks. Are you looking to grow? Are you looking for partnerships with auto dealerships or dealer groups to enhance their retention? Like what's your strategy go down the road?
Yeah, I think both those go hand in hand, right? We're always looking to grow, right? We are we're a business that is continuing to grow. Partnerships without a doubt are a big part for us. We partner with a lot of different people in this space, whether it's warranty companies, whether it is dealers, whether it is underwriters. Partnerships has always been a big component of this business. I think that the independent side, it is such a natural fit, because one of the things we do is sort of level the playing field with an independent lot to an OEM dealer, so that they can sell some of these high margin and high customer satisfaction services through their F&I groups.
Yeah, so the product is both an F&I product, and then it's the service on the flip side to deliver on that product, which makes sense in OEMs, but it also does feel like it competes with or it makes sense for independents, but it does feel like it competes with the OEMs. So that'll be part of the challenge, I think, is to see how that works playing well in the future, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the independent is certainly where we're focused, because it is the best fit, right? I mean, we solve a real problem. OEM guys oftentimes are selling prepaid maintenance packages. Now, the challenge is, I think the redemptions are much lower, because getting back to the OEM is really, really hard, to be blunt. I mean, it's just not as convenient. So what do? We come in with a mobile solution that allows an independent lot who may not have the ability to provide something like that, the ability to provide it, and your retention, because we're reaching out and touching the customer more.
Interesting. Any vehicles you won't work on? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Yossi.
No, I was going to ask him, and before we ask that question, Sam, is Ed, are you seeing any insights or trends from the last, say, 45 days, anything meaningful, right? Whether it be an uptick in demand or changing segments, fewer EVs, more EVs. I'm just curious to know if, given all that's happened in the market and our CDG consumer survey, which stated that, I think it was over 40% of consumers changed this over the last 30 days. They said that they were somewhat or very unlikely to trade in their vehicle given all the tariff news, which obviously means more fixed ops demand and more vehicles being serviced. Like, is there any key insight that you can share from just the last 30, 45 days that you've noticed?
Yeah, I'll break that into two parts. One, on the EV side, we do a lot of inspections on that side, and so that has uptick, quite a bit actually. That side of the business, the used EVs are back into the marketplace at a pretty high level right now, and so we're doing a lot of inspections there. We did see actually when there was uncertainty in the market, if you will, some of the things you have talked about already, tariffs and so forth. We saw a little bit of a slowdown towards the end of March and into the beginning of April, but it has really picked back up. And so, we are starting to see more and more demand on the M&R side of the business.
Got it. Okay.
Excellent. And EVs, is there any vehicles you will not service, or EVs part of that? How do you deal with that?
No. EVs, actually, we do, a bit of work with them. They're not a huge part of the car park, obviously, at this point for our, metric, right? We tend to, 5 years to 12-year-old cars are sort of our wheelhouse.
Older.
But, we certainly take care of, EVs, they're a different set of services and a different set of things that go wrong with them. But anytime, as you all know, anytime there's a moving part on something, it eventually breaks, right? So, we do that. We're not, taking care of uh, super fancy Ferrari. We're not going out and taking care of an Enzo, right? We're not taking care of if you have a McLaren F1, please don't call me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, our standard vehicles. I mean, we do a lot of European cars, right? We take care of a lot of Mercedes. We take care of a lot of a lot of Audis. A lot, there's a lot of the European cars, obviously, and then it does follow kind of what you would expect of the breakout of the car park.
Yeah. Well, Ed Petersen, CEO of Wrench, very cool to have you on the show today. Thanks for sharing your perspectives on mobile service. It's been fun to talk about that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks
Ed.
for having me.